Is George T. Stagg better than Stagg Jr.? We're about to find out. Let's get right on into it. What's going on, everybody? Nathan here with the Everyday Drinker, bringing you guys episode number 1 of Sample Battles. Today, we have George T. Stagg 2018 going up against the Stagg Jr. Batch 17, going up against Booker's 30th anniversary, going up against one of my bottles, 1792 Full Proof. We got these all poured. We have them all ready to get spun up. But before we do that, I want to let you guys know about the 1,000 subscriber giveaway. We just hit 800 subscribers, and I can't thank you enough. The support has been astronomical, and I am so grateful for all the love and support that you guys are bringing to the channel. But we are super close to 1,000 subscribers, so keep on telling your friends, everybody you know. Let's get that 1,000 subscriber giveaway going. We're super close. So hit that subscribe button, like, and comment. But without further ado, let's get to spinning. All right, so let's get placing. And one more for good measure. So just to let you know, the George T. Stagg is at 138 proof, so it is the highest out of these four. The 1792 and the Bookers are both at 125, and the Stagg Jr. is sitting at 129. So we're going to go from our left to our right and then work from our right to our left. Let's start on the left. So much cherry. So much cherry. This has a little bit of an oak presence. There's a slight touch of like a brown sugar. There's so much cherry candy in there. Oh my goodness, this is bold. This is so bold. Let's get into the palate. A little creme brulee. Man, that palate is good. Not a lot of burn, so I think it's one of the lower ones, but we'll be soon to find out. But that one has this beautiful creme brulee with a toasted marshmallow, finishing off with a beautiful oakiness on the palate. It's not very viscous, but it does have a longer finish. It's still going on. I'm getting a touch of banana, which is interesting. And then there's this fruit-forward cherryness that finishes it off. But let's move on to glass B here. Wow, this one's a lot brighter. There's a little bit of orange, a little bit more citrus, finding a little bit more cherry, maybe a little strawberry in there too. There's a little bit more of like a fresh, earthy woodiness. It smells a little hotter. It smells really good. It smells a little creamy, like there's this creamy aspect to it. It's like almost like vanilla ice cream almost. But let's get on the palate. Oh, that's good. There's so much cherry on the palate. There's like no burn. The finish is super long lasting. Like it's sitting on my tongue and it is making it water. There's so much oakiness in there as well, where it's giving your tongue a hug. It's not going down as a Kentucky hug. It's a tongue hug, and it is just packed full of flavor. There's so much cherry. There's a little bit of like a brown sugar maple going on there, and then the creme brulee with a vanilla, a little toastiness on top. There's a touch of nuttiness, which is very interesting. But this is fantastic. Let's move on to glass number 3 here. Glass 3 has a lot more maple in there. There's a touch of like a grassy hay, like dried hay bale in there a little bit. Almost a touch of like a plum, maybe a little bit of pear. Not a lot. There's a little bit of ethanol coming off of the nose. A touch of like an orange zest. I'm getting maybe a touch of peach too, but let's get into the palate. All three of those have been so different. That one's got a little bit more of a burn to it, but the palate itself is punching with flavor. There's like a cinnamon sweet, appley going on there. Then it turns into like this darker clove. There's a lot of spice in that one. There's a little bit of like there's a little pininess going on in there, like pine needles or whatnot. That's on the palate. You're getting a touch of cherry. That's really good as well. But let's move on to glass number 4. Glass number 4 is like a vanilla bomb almost. There's a peanut aspect to it as well. A little dusty. After that, there's a little fruitness, a little bit of sugar, almost like cake batter in a way. But let's get into the palate. That one's got a lot of oak, and it's got that like bitteriness to it. Makes me think it's a little bit more aged. Got a little mustiness to it. There's this like very, very dark, like over-ripened plum in there. Really, that's probably the nicest part about this one. But other than that, this one is not singing to me like the first two were. So I'm going to go clean my palate. We're going to go work our way from our right to our left this time. All right, guys, our palate is cleansed. We're going to do a quick nose and a quick taste test to see if anything else stands out above the rest on one of these. So starting on our right here. Nose opened it up a little bit. There's a little bit more of like a mapliness going on, like a maple brown sugar. Maybe a touch of like fresh fruit. Definitely opened up a little bit more, but let's get into the palate. There's still that mustiness, like dark, over-ripened plum, but there's a little bit more of like a residual sugar that's like tasting in there. Maybe like pure cane sugar, like not like white sugar, confectioner sugar. It's like a nice dark, not brown sugar, but without the molasses. But this has a little bit of that like fresh grain sugar. Not too bad. It's really not as bad as I thought it was. But let's move on to glass C here. There's so much more vanilla. There's so much more fruit after this opened up a little bit. There's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful strawberry cherry note in there. This smells so good. But let's get into the palate. This is flavor bombs. This has a lot of vanilla. There's a little bit of caramel, touch of toffee. There's a burnt marshmallowness going on in there. Not a heavy oak presence, but you can get that. It's drying my tongue out. The finish is super long. There's a lot of cherry in there as well. This is really good. This might be in the lead. That's over this right now for sure. But let's move on to the third glass here, C. There's a cherry Coke in this that is just beautiful. Beautiful sugariness, a beautiful cherry. So much syrup in there. There's a vanilla. It's like a cherry vanilla soda. Oh my. Let's get into the palate. The palate doesn't stand up to the palate doesn't stand up to the nose. The nose on this one is head and shoulders over the other two so far. It is such a beautiful nose, but the palate doesn't stand up to the third glass there. Or the second, whatever it is in front of me. This one right here does not stand up to that glass, in my opinion. Let's move on to the fourth glass, first glass, whatever it is, the one all the way to my left. There's a lot of molasses and brown sugar in there now. It opened up. There's a touch of like peanut dust. There's a little bit of like a peach cobbler almost. That's some, oh wow. That brought me right to like a peach cobbler. With like toasted cinnamon on top with the brown sugar, the nice candied peaches, that like jelly jam, whatever is in there. Oh my goodness, it smells so good. But let's get into the palate. That's really good. That is so good. There's so much sweetness out of that this glass goes ahead of this glass, but it doesn't go ahead of this glass. This right here is 1, 2, 3, 4. Easy as that. Easy as that. All right, so let's find out what came in fourth place. Fourth place goes to glass C, which is, what is C? Right here. Booker's 30th anniversary came in fourth place. Let's find out what came in third place. A. And A is the George T. Stagg 2018 came in third place. Let's find out what came in first place. First place goes to B, which is the Stagg 17, which means our bottle, 1792 full proof, came over the George T. Stagg 2018 and the Booker's 30th anniversary. Stagg Jr. batch 17 came out on front, so Stagg Jr. moves on to the finals. I am super impressed with the Stagg Jr. 17. It was packed full of flavor, had a beautiful nose. The George T. Stagg 2018 had the most beautiful nose I had smelled in a very long time. But on the palate, it just didn't stand up to the Stagg 17 or the Full Proof. The Full Proof's palate was beautiful. The nose was so-so, but on the palate you got so much flavor, so much flavor, but it didn't compete with that Stagg 17. So that's why I moved on to the finals. Guys, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. Make sure you're liking, commenting. Which one out of these 4 is your favorite if you've ever had them? 3 out of the 4 I had not had until today. So this was a fun battle. But I hope you guys are excited for next week because I have another fun one planned. So until next time, this has been Nathan with the Everyday Drinker. Cheers.